You've always had this unease. It lingered in your thoughts like a shadow in the back of your mind, gnawing at the edges of every memory from your childhood. There were the usual fears: monsters under the bed, the darkness swallowing the room after your parents turned off the lights, the quiet creak of a door that had been still just moments before. But, as an adult, those fears seemed silly. Or so you told yourself. It wasn't until you moved back into your childhood home, after your parents passed, that the memories began to surface. Fragments of long-forgotten terror that whispered through the cracks in your mind. The house was old, creaky, with dust filling every corner. The familiar scent of stale air welcomed you back. But there was something else, something you couldn't quite name. That night, as you settled into bed for the first time in years, it hit you. The same suffocating dread you used to feel as a child. The shadows seemed darker, the house more alive with those strange sounds, barely audible, yet unmistakable. It was like the air itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. You brushed it off as nostalgia mixed with grief. You'd lost your parents. That was bound to stir emotions. But as you closed your eyes, the memories became clearer. Not of joy or warmth, but of them. The things you used to see as a child. The whispers. The shadows. You hadn't thought of them in years. How could you forget? The strange figures that flickered in the corners of your vision late at night, watching, waiting. The way your closet door would never stay shut no matter how many times you latched it. You would wake in the middle of the night to find it standing open, just a crack, like an invitation. Then there was the basement. As a child, you never went down there, not unless you had to. You had this irrational belief that something lived in the darkness below, something that only came out when you were alone. You'd always feel its presence when you were upstairs, as if it was watching from below, waiting for you to make a mistake and venture too far into its domain. Tonight, that presence feels stronger than ever. You lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to silence the nagging fear gnawing at your mind. The house creaks, as old houses do, but each sound makes your heart race. You close your eyes, telling yourself that it's just your imagination, just the house settling. Then you hear it, a faint, rhythmic sound, like soft footsteps padding across the floor. They come from the hallway outside your room. You freeze, every muscle tensing, ears straining to listen. The footsteps stop, just outside your door. You can feel it, something, standing there, waiting. Your breath catches in your throat. The door handle rattles. You sit up, heart pounding, staring at the door. The handle turns slowly, but it doesn't open. Then the sound stops. Silence. Your pulse hammers in your ears as you climb out of bed, moving toward the door as if drawn by some invisible force. You open it slowly, your breath shallow, your hand trembling. The hallway is empty. Just as you turn to go back inside, you hear it again. A low, guttural whisper coming from the direction of the basement. You freeze, staring down the dark staircase at the end of the hall. The door to the basement, which had been closed earlier, is now open. A black void yawning at the bottom of the stairs. The whispering grows louder, more insistent, like a voice calling your name. The memories flood back all at once. You had always thought your fear of the basement was irrational, a childish phobia. But now, you remember the truth. As a child, you'd seen it. Them. The things that lived in the darkness. The night your parents found you, curled in a ball in your closet, muttering about the figures that crawled out of the basement and into your room. They never believed you, of course. They called it nightmares, imagination. But now, standing here as an adult, you remember everything. The basement wasn't just a basement. It was a doorway. You step closer to the stairs, your legs moving against your will. The whispering becomes a chorus now, echoing from below. And you remember with horrifying clarity that as a child, you weren't just afraid of the things in the dark. You had let them in. The whispering grows louder, more distinct. It's not calling your name. It's repeating something over and over, like a chant, words that make your skin crawl. Come home. Come home. You stand at the top of the stairs, staring into the abyss below, the weight of the truth pressing down on you like a vice. The shadows shift, forming shapes, figures that begin to move toward you, crawling out of the darkness like spiders. Their eyes glow with a sickly light, and their voices are in your head now, filling every corner of your mind. They never left. They've been waiting for you. And as you take a step forward, you realize the truth about your childhood fears. They were never just in your head. They were real. And now, they're here to take you back. Back to where you belong. The last thing you hear before the darkness swallows you whole is the sound of the basement door creaking shut behind you.